Whoa! Welcome everybody to Attempts at Governance. We're on episode 236. And boy, oh boy, has it been an exciting day here in the Toronto household. Landlord downstairs, he's got a little optical business downstairs. He called me and he said, "Hey, Jay, there's water dripping over all my equipment down here. What's going on?" Had to run around the house, see if I could find a leak. No leak whatsoever. So we may have a plumber joining the show in the middle. If you see a guy with a red hat, mustache, Italian accent, you know what's going on. We're going to start with the state of the Treasury here, which is looking a little down from last week. We're down 2.95 million dot, bringing that to 27.78 million. We're down 1.56 million USDT, down to 3.22 million. And we are up on USDC, 190,000, bringing us to 3.7 million USDC. That's the state of the Treasury. We don't have Funky yet here today, but if you happen to catch the Monday show, you did get a state of the funk then. So we're going to throw it right over to Limo for a look at referenda gone by.
Thank you very much, Jay. I think we only have budget for one Funky appearance per week, so
It's true.
got used to it
We blew it
wisely.
on Monday.
Okay, there's 9 refs gone by this week.
Yeah.
The first one is by Andre on the whitelisted caller track, ref 1546. This was rejected because it was asked to be voted nay. This was a runtime upgrade. Speaking of runtime upgrades, there was one by Donald Murray, ref 1581. This was approved. This is runtime upgrade version 1.5.1, which fixed an issue that we kind of glossed over on Monday, and also merged a bunch of other stuff. One of them was bounties now. Instead of having a global child bounty number,
yeah.
bound to the parent bounty, and a bunch of other stuff that hopefully we get explained soon. Then there is the Bifrost Foundation on the Treasurer track, ref 1538. This was approved, and this is a $1 million liquidity loan for VDOT, liquid staking tokens. This will be repaid with interest in around a year's time. Then we've got IGA, ref 1541. This was approved as well, and this was for 1.9 million USDT for Polkadot storage phase 3. I believe this was the second time they posted it, and it passed this time. Then we've got ref 1545. This was rejected, and it was for 185,000 USDT for the AI Web3 Chinese unit for 1 year. I know we have funded those guys before, so maybe they're going to come back with an amended referendum. Then we've got Perkabiz, ref 1544. This was approved, and this is for 83,000 USDT for Perkabiz retroactive treasury request. So congrats to those guys. Then we've got IBA Labs, ref 1540. This was approved, and it's for 144.5 thousand USDC for the continuation of the Spanish BD team for 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
Then we've got Quinwen, ref 1539. This was rejected. It was pretty close though. This is for 289,000 USDC for the JAM China Academy Educational Roadshow. And to round this off, someone that hopefully I'm going to see pretty soon, this is Grizzly on the small spin the track, ref 1553. This was approved, and it's for 100,000 USDC in funding to maintain and expand Polkadot's representation within the Texas Blockchain Council, and hopefully I'll be in Texas next month as well. And that's all the refs gone by.
Big in Texas. Very good. Congratulations to Grizz. Nice to see that. A few things to discuss there. This JAM education, this JAM school, I guess this became a little contentious after the whole token talk last week. This was kind of always on the line, but slipped just below the last minute. And then those big drops in the Treasury that we talked about in the state of the Treasury, that's really this Bifrost liquidity loan here, which I guess is still going to be in the Treasury once it gets those, this UI gets updated. And the Eiger storage phase 3, 1.9 million USDT, that's a big chunk. So I guess those, about that month there we had of no spending, just, yeah, we're so back on spending. Okay, quick shout out to the Woodies from Woody Wednesdays. Boy, oh boy, did we have a good time last night here in Toronto. We're growing every week. Look at all these people throwing up the official Gavoon Wood gang sign. We had a good time. Natty, you were there. You want to give any statement on how you thought that went?
Thanks to Jay, for starting this initiative. We've been running it for how many? 2 months, 3 months now?
3 months now.
Yeah, we've been doing this every week. I think consistency is the key. And the thing is, many told us we didn't know they have dot community in Toronto, but we just secretly dot supporters. And now we're happy that we have some group with people to chat, hang out, learn more, and like learn about Jam and like new Polkadot 2.0 and the Hub smart contracts. So we've been pretty happy. And after consensus, we even doubled down. Like now our group is how many? 120 people, around something like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, oh yeah.
generally crypto scene in Toronto is small, so I would say that's a pretty good results. And we're gonna keep it going, Jay, right? Every
Lo
week.
Lots of onboarding. We even sold a PBAX subscription last night.
Yes, yes,
Yep,
yes.
very good. And we had a
Oh, some
couple hackathon winners were there too.
absolutely. Yeah, I think everyone should exercise dot meetups. Meetups bounty operates really well, super fast.
Yep.
Like I think community, we should go back to our like grassroots community vibes and just like keep doing it globally. It's a great tool.
No, it's crazy how fast people are getting involved. So thanks very much, Nadia. And that was lots of fun. We're going to start today with a quick call to action from Bhavya on the Poke Assembly front. Bhavya, you wanted to tell people about some updates and give them a chance for feedback, I believe. Why don't you take it away?
Yes, thank you, Jay. I'll just share my screen for a quick short presentation.
Sure.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay. Okay, cool. So based on our response on the last proposal and the last year we have been through, we got some serious feedback which we worked on. And if you've used Polka Assembly recently, you've seen the speed and the revamp. And last AAG, my teammate was here to explain the technical upgrades we have done as well. Something that we have taken very seriously this time is community feedback, and we've tried running various loops for various target audiences to understand where the governance platform falls short, trying to understand what we can do better. So this initiative has been like really surprising for us. We were not expecting such a response, honestly, given the limited interaction we've had. But again, it has been great. So the three forms currently we have going on is one is the survey form. It's a brief survey to kind of gather common issues, user feedback, and comparison between screens. This initiative is kindly it's targeted mainly towards the new users, trying to get how was their onboarding experience and if they faced any critical bugs initially. The second format is actually a one-on-one user feedback. This is something that we have done since the beginning of Polka Assembly, and this has worked out really well for us. This is more focused towards power user and often also serves up as a follow-up to the survey. This is helpful for the product and the UX team to kind of understand the challenges better. Something new that we are trying to do, the first session being next week, is the focus group discussions. So the idea is to bring a moderator on and have some power users together to understand where the current challenges exist. If there's something we can optimize further, we're more than happy to do that. So instead of going forward and building features back to back, we're trying to understand the community better and trying to build only what's needed. So up until now, some feedbacks that we have had have been categorized into two sections, which is issues and concerns and the requested features. We have duly been keeping note of all of the feedbacks, and we'll be sharing a detailed report publicly on our Twitter channel about all of those as well, so that we bring out everything in public and be it as transparent as possible. I think we tried sharing links and it's also tagged pinned on our Twitter feed, but just a quick QR code here for inviting all of you to participate in any form you find comfortable, because eventually it is your opinion that shapes the governance experience. Yeah, so that will be all from my end.
That's great. Does anybody on the panel have any quick feedback for Poke Assembly right now? I'll just say that lately I've had some trouble with the little the bar showing how much is I and how much is nay. That nice little arc. Sometimes it hasn't been loading for me. I use Brave browser, and we've had a few instances on the show where it doesn't show up. So maybe something to look at there.
All right, we did some cache upgrades, so might have been a challenge to do that, but I'll check that and get back to you on that as well.
All right, ET in the chat says same thing there, so something to look at. But thanks a lot. This is an important part of the discussion and relationship. So thanks very much for coming on and sharing that today.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're going to get to our title ref of the week, Marketing Bounty Refill for May 2025. Well, it's in May 2025. I think this is 6 months, 200,000 DOT per month. Early votes, 25% in favor, although we only have 6 accounts voting right now. So we'll check on that later, maybe after this presentation. Who do we have here? Natty, Juba, ET, anybody else?
Yeah, the other two couldn't make it, but yeah, it's a fresh submission, so there's not a lot of voting, and we just wanted to come here and get in front of it, talk a little bit about what we're doing. I know Funky's not here, so anyone keeping the timer?
I got you here, and I'm going to be
Uh,
very strict today. Very strict.
awesome.
All right.
Well, yeah, let's get started. So I'm joined by Natty and Evan today, and we just wanted to give a little brief overview of the submission that we've just put in. It's a refill for this marketing bounty that we started back in November 2024, passed in OpenGov, and we really took the time to put together this submission in a way that's easily legible. You can see on Subsquare, we gave a brief description of everything that's going on, the amount, two new curators who are Mark Seitail and Sergi from Magenta Labs.
Nice.
We felt that we need to pay attention a little bit to business development and the investor side of Polkadot, get a little guidance there. And then in our submission, you have a full projects list, everything that we've funded, and just a brief outline of our internal operations so people can get really used to what we've been working on, how we've been structuring ourselves, and how we plan to take this on for another 6 months and do the best we can for the community. And with that, I'll pass it on to Evan. He's got a bunch to say, and Natty as well.
Hey everyone, thanks Juba. I think one thing I just want to make clear about this marketing bounty is try to disassociate it from marketing bounty 1.0. So the one that had all of the sort of drama around spending millions of dollars on KOLs, like this marketing bounty has nothing to do with that. So we wanted to be a bit more strategic and focus on things that the Polkadot ecosystem really needed. So for example, we identified that the community management wasn't really up to standards. So we brought on a community management team and funded them. So Moon and those guys are doing a great job on the Discord and Telegram. We realized that the sentiment on crypto Twitter around Polkadot wasn't so great. So we initiated the Cato campaign. We also funded things like the When Shit Happens podcast. So the podcast that's coming out with Mark and Gavin and Ed Hess from Energy Web and so on. And we also wanted to really drive people to use products. So we funded this really cool Twitter ads campaign for hydration. And they saw a notable increase in number of active accounts in TVL. We also did something on CoinGecko for hydration. We are sponsoring Blast, which will require people to use Nova Wallet. We realized that we wanted to target more developers, so we're funding Apollo Labs and the Jam Tour. And then Juba's been doing really great work with stablecoins. So what I'm getting at is this isn't the old KOL bounty. In fact, I think in the last 2 or 3 months, we've done 30K a month to KOLs. I mean, it's not really critical to us to just shovel money into KOLs like the old bounty. So that's the one thing I wanted to come on and make clear, was to really, in fact, I wanted to not even have the name to be marketing bounty. I was thinking something like growth bounty, just because I know that old name is so tainted. But I really encourage everyone to go into the proposal, read what we funded. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the number of initiatives we've done. I mean, one thing I forgot to mention, so, growing the presence of Polkadot in APAC region, billions of people, and it's underserved. So we brought on an agency to specialize in that region called Serotonin. So yeah, just please go check out the proposal, see everything we funded. And I think most of you know where to find me on Telegram. Reach out if you have any questions. Happy to answer anything.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, Angie.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if you could expand a little bit more on the conferences and events that you're thinking about kind of leaning into.
Yeah, I can take that if no one has. So I personally feel that Polkadot should be expanding outside of the traditional crypto Web3 events.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a little bit of fatigue with the sort of the hallmark events like Consensus and Token 24/9 and so on. I would love to fund something like the All In Summit, which is a more general podcast that's happening event. They're targeting people in Silicon Valley, entrepreneurs, policymakers, sovereign wealth funds, and so on. Things like the Milken Global Institute, traditional Web 2 summits and conferences. I would love to see Polkadot have a presence at college career fairs where you have really young, hungry people that are just finishing their degree, just did 5 years getting a PhD in computer science. So I would really like to see. We haven't, we are not the events bounty, so we don't really specialize in events. However, I would like to see the marketing bounty moving forward kind of encourage us to have a presence at those events.
In general, I couldn't agree more with that expansion in that direction. Let's hear from Lorena. 3 minutes left.
Yes, thank you. Related with that, I agree with Ivan. We are in Latin. We are focused on that kind of event. Focus on startups. Focus on entrepreneurs. Focus on technologies events. So gaming events, but in each vertical, we are working on that to have Polkadot presence in that event instead of having present in Web3 event that we are always the same people. So we need to do that. We need to jump to this kind of event. In fact, next week we will have one of Innovation Tech Week organized by the government of Buenos Aires. So I agree completely with you. We need to reorganize these ideas to focus on the vertical, define exactly what vertical we want to do, and push all the energy in this kind of verticals. Okay, start seeing, because no one or few blockchain are doing that. Okay, we have a very good opportunity to do that and start working in this kind of event. We see exchanges in this kind of event, but we don't see blockchains. So this opportunity is a very good opportunity for us.
All right, we got 90 seconds.
That's what we are doing in Latin.
All right, 90 seconds left. All right, we have 2 hands up, so let's go to Max. Thanks, Lorena.
Yeah, also just wanted to give a quick shout out to the events bounty. Fully agree that this is a very different kind of bounty than the one we had in the previous iteration, so to speak. And yeah, certainly hope that this is going to pass. I like, from an APEC perspective, I'm quite excited about funding of Serotonin. I think that's really important to have like a dedicated marketing agency for the APEC region. So I think great job on that. And then also really big shout out on the whole idea of All-In Summit, for example. I think that's a brilliant idea. And like other like similar like non-traditional crypto events. I think if you guys go ahead and take the lead there, then that's something to be welcomed with open arms.
Nice. Yeah, the reputation of Serotonin really is quite good. I've heard lots of people give a good shout out to that.
Great.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you, Max. Nice to have you back on the show. We have 20 seconds left. Any closing comments? Yeah, Juba.
Just thank you. Everyone's been really supportive so far, and thank you for seeing, like what Evan said, what we're trying to do. It's just been a hitting the ground running turnaround. So please ask questions in the proposal, reach out if you need extra clarification. We're here to work with you all and just push this footprint as far and wide as we can. Thanks.
And we're at time. Thank you very much. So that's $1.2 million in total, 200 a month. Hope we can have really good discussions about this going forward. But guys, great start. Thanks for coming on. We're going to move on to a discussion here now. I want to welcome our friends from Snowbridge back to the show. Who do we have here to discuss this new proposal? This is for funding 2025 and 2026. Aiden, I thought we had Clara. Oh, yeah. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the show. What do you want to tell us about this? I'm going to put 8 minutes on the clock.
Hey everyone, good to see you all again. So for those that don't remember, we were here last year talking about our initial Snowbridge proposal when Snowbridge first launched. And we had a proposal plan for 2 years, and in that initial proposal, we executed the first year of payments. And those have now kind of all come through. And so we're planning to put another proposal through in the next few days for the next year of follow-up payments. We posted a discussion about this a few days ago. I'm not sure if people have had a chance to really look through it yet. So this is more of an introduction and kind of overview, and encourage people to look and give us feedback. And we'll probably come on again next week after it's gone live for any kind of updated questions and to support whatever people want. But essentially, it's kind of the same payment structure that you would have seen last year on our proposal that we planned for. And Snowbridge has now been live for almost a year. We've seen it grow to over 60 million in TVL. We've got like full integrations with almost every parachain and tons of other pieces of the ecosystem, including like parachains, wallets, apps, and other services. And our team has been working hard to like support adoption of Snowbridge and adoption of kind of wider XCM initiatives. And the kind of things that we're looking for feedback on are the upcoming roadmap. So if there's things that kind of we left out or that are critical that the community really wants us to kind of add to the roadmap, then we'd love to get that feedback and work on it. If you look at the roadmap kind of coming forward, the big thing is V2, which is launching in about a month, already done, and then it's kind of waiting in the queue to go live, and that's going to unlock full kind of arbitrary messaging, smart contract calling in a fully permissionless way. We did kind of support that a year ago, but we decided to hold off on actually activating it because we wanted to make some optimizations and improvements and kind of double check the security. But that will essentially unlock full cross-chain composability between Polkadot and Ethereum. And it will allow for things like the treasury itself and like Polkadot governance to run smart contracts in Ethereum and to kind of control state and have the ability to take actions on Ethereum. So for example, if there's kind of, I don't know, protocols or DeFi protocols or things like that that the Polkadot community wants to engage with on Ethereum, it would be able to do that directly through Polkadot governance, which will be like quite interesting. The other major components of our roadmap are really around like decreasing costs and decreasing latency. We've got a few cool ideas that have kind of been proven out now that we'll be able to ship to get cost and latency down a lot lower. And then just kind of general updates to like Asset Hub, Bridge Hub, and the Polkadot Hub that's just coming soon. I think there'll be a bunch of like internal changes that us and Parity want to make for moving where our palettes are and moving some of the functionality around to support the kind of longer term Polkadot Hub initiative. And the last piece is decentralizing our kind of relays even further. So over the last year, we've decentralized the relays, at least within our team, running a kind of test examples of, for example, our team members running relays fully independently themselves outside of like the company. And that's been running really smoothly. And we've been using that as a way to essentially test the water so that when we bring external relays on, it's really straightforward and easy for them to do so. And so we are ready to do that now. And especially with the launch of V2 next month, that's going to become even cheaper and easier. The kind of proposal also goes through like a year-end review of the last year of all the stuff that we flipped. I'm not going to get into that now because it's not that much time. And that's about it. When it comes to the payment structure, it's roughly 18,000 DOT per month over the next year, as well as 300 or so thousand USDC over a month over the next year. And yeah, that's kind of the same that as it's been going for the last year, essentially renewing the same payment structure for the next year. And it's based on all the kind of completed milestones that we talked about last year, and that's that we've been working over the last few years for. So we'd love to hear kind of questions, feedback, and especially we're looking for kind of thoughts on the roadmap and requests from the community for things that we could do to further bring benefit to you all over the next year.
All right, so we have about 3.5 minutes left. Let's go right to Tommy.
Yeah, so first of all, respect for building Snowbridge. It's a tough problem to tackle. I would be interested, and I think many people would be interested too, if you can give a rough breakdown of the cost structure of how much goes into, I don't know, like infrastructure, how much does go into gas, how much does go into headcount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there is a section in the document that talks about our payment structure. Give me one sec, but essentially, we've been putting a lot of work over the last year to reduce the infrastructure costs and gas costs. And so in our last funding proposal, there was around $1 million allocated to infrastructure, gas cost auditing. We've only spent, I think, about half of that, maybe slightly over. And so we've still got about $100,000 left for that. And so that is still going to be used for the upcoming year to cover gas costs and potentially another audit. That's still to be determined. Then there's the kind of relay costs, which come to around 150,000 or so. And then the majority of the costs are for like our team bonuses and incentives. And so the kind of proposal was initially, like when we started the project, we planned for a structure where the majority of the payouts for the team were in long-term incentives. And so that's a mix of DOT and USDC incentives that are incentive aligned with the Polkadot Treasury, where they only get paid out monthly as the bridge continues to function. And so the majority of the costs are kind of continuing to pay out those team incentives. What is coming along with that is like insurance and bug bounty. And so what we've committed to is all the funds that are allocated to Snowbridge over the next year. If at any point there's any kind of issues with the bridge or loss of funds, then we forfeit all of those funds, and so they're essentially locked into an insurance pool, and only over the year do they kind of unlock to us. And if there's any issues needed, then that'll all kind of get forfeited from our team and get paid out as insurance to cover any kinds of losses for the project. Similarly, same applies for the bug bounty. We've got a bug bounty program that's been running for the last year and will continue to run for another year, where the funds that are needed to pay out the bug bounty also will come from our incentive bonuses if there's bugs that are found and that need to get paid out.
Okay, pretty complex, but hopefully we can wrap our heads around that in the coming weeks. Anybody else have a question or comment? Otherwise, I'll relay some stuff I'm seeing in the chats. Okay, we just have a minute left. Maybe the most pertinent question would be, when does the Snowbridge team shrink down to maintenance mode? When do we stop building features and just have something, that works, that people are actually using, and we stop kind of paying for kind of an expanding project and start paying for something that's just working?
Yes, I mean, Snowbridge is at the point that it's working now.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a few important upgrades that are coming over the next few months, but we expect like that shift down to kind of maintenance mode to happen this year. And obviously, there's still the option. We have a lot of ideas for cool stuff we could build to improve the project, but those are kind of optional extras. And so like this year is essentially when that should be expected.
All right, great. And that brings us right to time. Thanks very much for coming on. Please come back as often as you wish during this proposal, because it is a big one, and we want lots of opportunities to make sure this goes through in the best way possible. So thanks very much, guys. We're going to move on now to another. Thank you. We're going to move on now to another new proposal. This is funding for Mimir's enhanced features and ecosystem integration. We have Lou on the show. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hi, good to meet you.
Yep.
We're glad to be here again and to share the progress we have made in Mimir. And I'm going to share my screen to show you some information.
All right. We see it?
Yeah. Okay, great. So first thing that we have more users and more multisigs created in Mimir. And we got more trusted partners using Mimir for their daily operations. And thanks to Mimir Puppy SDK, we onboarded some new apps. Also, we integrated more chains. And then the most important thing is that what we've done to contribute to the community, our new features. We have finished all these features to make Mimir easier to use multisig tool. And the first most important thing is that the Omni UX, on top of wallets in Polkadot ecosystem, like Subwallet, Talisman Nova, had got rid of the network switching feature. User can interact across different chains without having to switch networks. And also, now MetaMask in Ethereum ecosystem updated this feature recently. So following their first steps, Mimir implemented Omni UX to provide a similar, smooth, and intuitive interaction. So this feature also aligns with the UX unified format presented by UX Bounty. As you can see in this picture, if I turn on the Polkadot, and the asset on Polkadot will be shown. So you can manage your asset across chain together. And also it will bring seamless app interaction, especially for like apps like Polka Identity. Some people don't have funds on People chain. Polka Identity provided the interface to teleport from the relay chain. They used to need to switch relay chain and first teleport them and then switch back to People. Now the operation is more seamless. So do with like Subsquare and Polkadot JS app and also others. We believe that the most important thing for multisig tool is to bring users the experience as easy as using extension wallet. So we developed this feature. And the second one feature is called template. Users sometimes need to repeat their similar transaction manually, especially transactions that require complicated cores. It's increased the execution time and the risk of errors. So Mimir code template feature allow users to have a safe transaction as a template and make some parameter adjustment instead of rebuilding the whole transaction. This will simplify the whole process, improve accuracy, and enhance efficiency. We can't finish this work without .console, and .console is a Pipey app. So Mimir also developed Pipey SDK for that. So this feature contains the contribution of Pipey SDK. And also, if you have some coding skills and often need to initiate a lot of multi-sig transactions, so you can try Mimir multi-sig API. You can build extrinsic off-chain and use Mimir multi-sig API to submit bundles of transactions to Mimir cache, then add them to batch and execute them all together later. And it will reduce transaction fee, improve execution speed. Also, even Mimir has integrated with many apps. There are still some remain unsupported, like HydraDex. Supporting Wallet Connect can help bridge the gaps and enable access to a wider range of applications. So Mimir integrated Wallet Connect enable the direct multi-sig interaction with hydration app and Polkadot staking dashboard, Polkadot developer console, and more. And I have to say, every mirror features we have developed has been directly shaped by our real user input. First, the code template. Many thanks to 0x Taylor from DAO community. And the multi-sig API, this feature is inspired by Polkadot Hungary. And OmniUX, this idea comes from our collaboration with Polka Identity and the UX Monkey. What's more, and we got a lot of valuable feedback from UX audit. We have fixed some of them, but we still need to do more works. And also remote proxy will help users do cross-chain transfers without worrying about asset loss. And it's also about asset hub migration. It's on the way. Recently, West End asset hub migration has finished. We are actively testing and modifying our product. Then I think the most important thing we want to discuss is Polkadot Mimir Polka VM. With the launch of Polka VM, some institutions, some DAOs, some projects may need multi-sig to manage their fund. We have deployed safe contract on West End. Feel free to test it. We have announced it on our tweet, and there are some contracts we have announced. We are working on finish the product for user to manage their Polka VM multi-sig. We will also want to get some feedback from the community about your idea. That's all. Thanks.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot. I have been demoed this product, and it is pretty slick. It's not exactly part of my workflow, but I definitely know people who do use it and appreciate it. So thanks for this presentation. Tommy, we got a couple minutes left. What do you want to say?
Yeah, just want to say, for everyone who is using multi-sigs, I can just highly recommend to check it out.
Okay.
It has a lot of features, and what I really respect about the Mimir team is they really understand the needs of people that use a multi-sig, and they have been working exactly against those features and against those needs. And from all the teams working in Polkadot, I have not met another team that is as good understanding the needs of the user base they're working for.
Cool.
So thank you.
I also saw recently, I was poking around Subsquare's UI for child bounty management, and then I saw it was actually recommended Mimir by their team as well. Do you work closely with the Subsquare team?
We're both from Chinese developer community, so we know each other. And I have to say, thanks to Subsquare support, they are the first application integrated Mimir SDK.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, honestly, if there's something you want to do on chain before you pull your hair out, just check if Subsquare has already implemented the feature. It's kind of crazy. It's a lot of it's there. They do a good job. All right. Anybody else? 1 minute left. All right, we'll call it early. Thanks very much for coming on, Lou.
Yeah, thank you.
One more new proposal to talk about today before we move on to some we've already seen. Got him. We still have you? Oh, there you are.
Yes.
All right, we got you. Now, look, I just want to put this proposal in context real quick. Epico, Ethereum wallet compatibility for Polkadot SDK chains. Just saw this on X a day or two ago. MetaMask is now totally compatible with Solana. So just so you know, another big ecosystem who finds this to be important. You're tackling this problem in your own unique way here. Got him. I'll put 8 minutes on the clock. I want you to take it away.
Thank you, Jay. Am I audible?
Yes, we hear you.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm sharing my screen now.
Perfect.
Awesome. Let's get started. Okay, so first of all, I'll go directly to the problem statement. The biggest barrier is people don't want to download too many wallets on their devices. They don't want to manage too many keys. And the second most important thing is the account format for Substrate and Polkadot. Of course, there are things being solved right now with, like unified account format and stuff, but still it's different from the other account formats. So it kind of becomes a barrier for people. They get confused. And the second thing is majority of people want to use something they're familiar with. A lot of people try to, get impacted by these news of people getting hacked, their wallets getting drained and all that, and they want to use something that they trust, they want to rely on. And if you see this graph that I have, taken from this June dashboard called Wallet War, MetaMask is more than 80% out there, which people are using basically. Now, but it is not directly supported by parachains on Polkadot because the account formats is different, the RPC is different, and we wanted to solve that problem with Epico. So there are two design goals that we are aiming for here. One, on the user side, we want to enable the Polkadot users to interact and use the parachains or dApps built on top of parachains directly from MetaMask or Ethereum wallets. And chains on their side, they can support each style transactions without having to have support EVM on their chains. Like today, you can have ETH style transactions on chains like Moonbeam because they have EVM. But there are certain chains that don't have EVM. How do you enable them for MetaMask? That's what we are trying to solve as well. So these are the two main design goals: users and chains. And then intro. Basically, what is Epico? It's primarily built for enabling direct, seamless compatibility from MetaMask to any Polkadot SDK chain. We have built, keeping one thing in mind, that the user should have a familiar user experience. They should not be worrying about, a new wallet, new account format, or anything like that. And the most important thing is frictionless onboarding. All of the hackathons we are going to, I was participating in a hackathon as a judge last year, December. I saw a lot of devs came from the Ethereum ecosystem and they wanted to try so many things. But in Polkadot, everything was different. So, we want to give them a familiar user experience, frictionless onboarding kind of stuff. And that is where we build Epico. So now, answering a few questions, some of these, of course, were asked in some previous conversations as well. So this is not a wallet. This is a Rust library, a crate for integration in Substrate chains directly. It enables all these standard Ethereum RPCs that are required for MetaMask to interact with the chains. And we have already integrated it with Polkadot SDK parachain and solo chain templates. So if you are building based on these templates, which most of the parachains are today, you can directly integrate Epico, basically. Ecosystem impact, of course, making Polkadot-based apps immediately accessible to the largest wallet user base, reduce the learning curve, and encourage broader engagement in the Polkadot ecosystem. Pretty straightforward, I would say. What we are delivering as part of this proposal, we are giving all the code base for Epico core features and making it fully open source. We are creating detailed documentation, tutorials, and integration guides to integrate with any parachain out there. We are creating a fully functional demo, which users can actually click through. Right now, what we have is a recorded video on YouTube. But as part of this, we are going a click-through demo for anybody to try it out before they want to integrate it. And finally, in case somebody requires a tech support after we open source everything, we are here for 3 months. Ask us any questions, involve us in a call, involve us in a debugging session, and we are here to support you. So that's what we are delivering in this. A quick word about who we are, what we do, Block Deep Labs. Over the last 1 year, we started in March last year timeframe after, spinning out from Parity. We started with our first project, the big one, the Mythos parachain. We end-to-end developed the parachain and then migrated all of the NFTs and users from the Ethereum chain there. Then last year, we created a treasury proposal for ecosystem services. We delivered detailed code reviews for 20 teams in the ecosystem. We created a substrate best practices book, Libro. We created the delivery partners program last year, and we did a lot of release analysis reports for all the major releases of Polkadot SDK. Then we built some open source tools. We created a smart accounts, let's say, implementation for specific to substrate chains. It's called Authro. You can have heterogeneous proxies and accounts within that. And then we created a pretty interesting tool called XCM Tracer, where you don't have to look at multiple screens and you can trace an XCM message from one single view. Finally, right now, what we are currently working on, apart from Epico, is the RFC 0097 fast unbonding. This is like the big one. We have been, approved by the Rust OG bounty to do work on this one. And the good part is, coincidence, today itself, we finished the work on that. The PR is now ready for review and should soon to be merged in Polkadot SDK. So that's what we have here. Thank you. I will leave you with a link to the demo. I'll drop that in the chat window so that everybody can take a look later. And that's pretty much it.
All right, good. We have 2 minutes left. Any questions or comments here? Yeah, that's Tommy.
Hey, so I've been looking at the price structure, or basically you're showing that you spent the amount you spent, and then you translate that into a price, which looks reasonable to me, because any other team that would want to recreate the effort would likely spend a comparable effort, right? So from this perspective, it makes sense. What's on my mind is there any competing, let's say, competing products that we can compare it against?
Not at the moment, basically, because there were some MetaMask snaps, like the plugins that you can integrate into MetaMask. But we wanted to move away from that user experience because the main goal was users should not have to do anything on the wallet side. So this is all on the parachain side and the dApp side. There are two parts of Epico. One, the major part is a Rust crate. You just put it into your parachain. The second part is the dApp layer, where we just wrap up the transactions. There's nothing that compares to this.
Yeah, I think
a good thing.
UX is most important here. I've seen some people say, well, why don't we just get people to download a new wallet if they want to explore the Polkadot ecosystem? I don't think this aligns with my experience trying to explore new ecosystems. I hate downloading new wallets, actually. And I love just my one browser instance with MetaMask, and then any ecosystem I can explore with that, I'm much happier than downloading something new. Got a minute left. Go ahead, Angie.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, Solana just made this announcement a couple of days ago around MetaMask.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? How will the Polkadot version differ?
That is native interaction. Basically, MetaMask has also, integrated some of their RPCs, I believe. In what we have done is we have not dependent on any third party. We just say that, okay, whoever wants to integrate it, take this code, add it to your parachain, and you're good to go. You don't have to take permission from MetaMask to do this. So that is the difference. And the second thing is, this is something that we have been working on since August last year. We spent a lot of time on this. I think the Solana news is pretty new. And of course, it shows that there is a bigger wallet, like user captures from MetaMask that everybody wants to utilize. So this kind of gives us a little bit of thumbs up on our thinking on why we built this. But yeah, this is a much, let's say, an effort that has been there since months.
And we're at time there. Thanks very much, Gordon, for coming on. We'll check on this next week.
Thank you.
Now move on to some refs that we've spoken about previously, starting with a very quick, I heard, presentation, again from Cole. This is the Volmex integration with Polkadot DEX ecosystem. This has been struggling now 2/3 of the way through the decision period for 425,000 USDC, under 5% support right now. But want to hear what Cole has to say about this. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Hey everybody, great to be here. This is Cole Kennelly, founder and CEO of Volmex Labs, joined by my colleague Alex from the business BD team. So yeah, quick context, Volmex is the leading benchmark index creator in the crypto space. We have built the leading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, volatility indices called BVIV, EVIV, and SVIV. We also have a complex of rates products as well, rates indices. Further context, we're integrated with Bitfinex, sister company of Tether, CoinMarketCap, TradingView, and we have a big pipeline of partners, some of the biggest exchanges in crypto that are, should be coming to the Volmex ecosystem soon to list our index products. Backed by a number of different founders, Robot Ventures, different ecosystems. And so, yeah, for further context, I was actually involved with the Polkadot mainnet launch in 2019. I was the second employee at Staked, or Stake US, which was acquired by Kraken and is now the Kraken staking division. And so, I've been long involved in the Polkadot ecosystem. It's great to get, to pick, to accelerate, kind of Volmex into Polkadot. So we want to bring these novel index products to Polkadot in a big way, and have big plans here. We understand that the hydration proposal is an unusually large proposal, which is impressive what they've built. But this is, to be clear, this is a very, a separate proposal that brings Volmex indices, the leading volatility and rates indices to Polkadot. So this would benefit the soon to be live, or soon to be, the to be launched hydration perpetuals DEX and the Polkadot DAO's investment in hydration. But it also benefits everybody in the Polkadot ecosystem. And so we really believe that supporters of hydration, the hydration proposal, should be supportive of this proposal, specifically Chaos DAO and the Koos. I think you guys have both voted A on hydration's proposal. If you support this much money for hydration, you should also support our proposal 1555 as well. Why not support another proposal that helps the success of your large $5 million $20 million US investment in hydration, right? If you buy a $5 million house, you also want fire insurance. If you buy a fancy, nice car, you want good tires on the car. And so it's a small, relative price to the outlay that you're putting out for hydration. And if you guys want Polkadot to be part of the Volmex ecosystem and catalyze Polkadot DeFi together with novel index products that are only live on Bitfinex now and soon come into other ecosystems like Solana and others, you should support this proposal. And so, the last thing is, Volmex is, headquartered in New York. We have a strong presence here. I've been working in crypto startups in New York for 6.5 years. I have a very large network of, founders and investors and the entire New York crypto ecosystem. We can really be a champion for Polkadot in the States and in New York specifically. We also have very strong connections to market makers, traders, investors, and will be a champion, Polkadot on the business development and marketing front. I hear a lot of the discussion here is around marketing. I think this, that's an adjacent angle here that we can also help, with that as we kind of do co-marketing with Polkadot around the integration and whatnot. And so I would just encourage all Polkadot holders to think carefully and seriously about this proposal. It has a massive upside, and we're very excited to get involved in the Polkadot ecosystem in a big way. So reach out to us if you have any questions. Cole got tweets on Twitter. I can drop my Telegram here as well. We'd love to get more involved with Polkadot and think that we have a lot to offer.
Very nice. Maybe you said massive upside there. Maybe you could quantify that for us one more time. Just what massive upside should people be looking for?
So, in the equities market in the US, volatility products trade tens of trillions of dollars a year across exchange traded products and and OTC products. The VIX franchise is the most valuable asset of the CBOE, which is a $23 billion public company. And so one of the leading options exchanges, most valuable, asset is a volatility index, the VIX, which is constantly referred to in the financial media, CNBC, Bloomberg, and then it's tradable on a variety of different exchanges through different sort of products. And so the VIX franchise, will be replicated in the crypto market. That's precisely what we've built with BVIV or BVIV. And we want to bring that to Polkadot, which would be an early beneficiary of this massive narrative of massive emerging product class of derivatives in crypto, the volatility products. We also build rates indices, which are kind of the big whopper for banks, right? Banks trade rates products far more than equity products, and so the rates interest rate market actually dwarfs the equity and commodities market. And so you have the chance to bring the leading forerunner for vol indices, BVIV, EVIV, and SVIV, to Polkadot, but also bring this emerging, asset class of rates to the Polkadot ecosystem as well. And so, rates trade, probably, many trillions, and vol products trade, tens of trillions as well. And so, bringing some of that on chain to Polkadot is a really big opportunity with massive upside for Polkadot DeFi, which, it's very hard to differentiate a DeFi ecosystem in the crypto space right now. There's so many chains pulling attention every which way. This would be a way for Polkadot to get a leg up on a lot of its, competitors. And so we think we can really help you guys, and also you can help us with distribution.
All right, thanks very much. We have 2 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah, Tommy.
Hey, Cole. Thank you for the proposal. You mentioned that the hydration perpetuals on hydration would profit from that. Did the hydration team make a comment about that, or are you working with them?
Thanks, Tommy. Great question. So we submitted the proposal, a prior version of it, a couple months back, and Jacob came on an AAG and backed this proposal and spoke highly of it. And so, yeah, we've been in touch with the hydration team, and once they do launch perpetuals, we plan to fast track an integration with them and bring them some differentiated markets, which will help them compete in the very, very hyper competitive, perpetual space, right? There's the big three exchanges like Binance, OKX, and Bybit, and then there's Hyperliquid. And if you don't have something new to offer users, there's really no reason for a whale that's just concerned with their P&L to trade on another, longer tail derivatives exchange. And so this would allow hydration to get a leg up on, competitors that, have been around for a bit longer and offer something new. And so, yeah, we've been in touch with hydration. You can see the link in the proposal that, Jacob spoke on the AAG, and yeah, we're quite excited to work with them.
So, but maybe to clarify, are you in contact with them?
We've talked with them. We had a call with Jacob, and then he came to the AAG and expressed support for Volmex and the proposal. And we've been in touch. We have an active DM and Telegram.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, we've seen it on this show. All right, that's about time there. Great stuff. Thanks very much, Cole. You mentioned the 5 million DOT hydration proposal. We do have kind of a breaking update on that situation that we're going to discuss later on in the show. Looks like some behind the scenes deals with Parity and Velocity, and those funds are going to be used in a slightly different way. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Thanks very much, guys, for coming back on. Oh, one more thing. You mentioned KuSTAO there, but just a reminder, you can lobby the voting members of KuSTAO directly. I haven't seen you in that thread yet, but that's possible. There's a link in the description of the YouTube video to get in the Discord there and speak directly to them if you want. But that's it for Volmex. We're going to move on now to Birdo. Birdo, nice berries. We got this 1.03 million USDT proposal here. We have had some votes come in here, so let's check that out real quick before we start the timer. No DV on the I side here, but you do have a few heavy accounts. Who's on the nay side? PokeWorld's on the nay side, Gem Implementers, and Permanence on the nay. KuSTAO is currently, I think it's just about to flip to I, actually. I think that's what's going on there.
I think it's on abstain. Well, I think its initial vote was abstain.
Yeah, initial vote was abstain. Anyway, welcome back to the show. You got 8 minutes.
Hello.
Go ahead.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So I mean, like, I can do the same presentation again if we want, but I think the aim is to open up for questions. And if there's no questions, we can pass.
Okay. Well, how about, have there been any comments that you'd like to make a public statement about for people who are maybe still on the fence? Any nay side comments that you found compelling you want to discuss? I mean, you have a PokeWorld comment here, Permanence comment.
Yeah. Just give me a second. Let me look at something. Yeah, I mean, so I think the main concerns are the budget, right? About the amount of money. And I think it's just worth reiterating that the rate dollars per hour being charged is roughly as per many other proposals from many other like teams, wallet companies, and other people building. Which I can bring up on screen if we really want to see it. But like it's it's in the middle of what many people are charging, and it's like the company Novasama, which is getting the majority of the software development portion of the budget. They're a company; they're not individual dudes, right? So they need to pay tax and they need to pay holiday pay and sick pay, and like they're a company. They need to do all of their company objectives, right? That comes at a higher cost than hiring 4 contractors from somewhere in the world to do work, right?
Yeah.
They have, the other benefit of working with a company in this way, for anyone that has done this professionally, they know like if someone leaves, if someone is sick for a long period of time, the company's job is to cover that person and make sure there's always someone working on the thing, right? That's what you pay for, I think, if you're using a company like that. So I yes, it is a substantial amount of money, I think, but I don't think the rate or anything like that is excessive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so
Seems on par with other stuff that's been funded.
You're using Novasama Technologies, the people behind the Nova wallet,
That's correct, yeah.
paying the same rates that we've paid them for other app builds in the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the only other thing that's worth mentioning is that if you look at this proposal, we are funding software development and we're funding some marketing and that's it in terms of like personnel. Web3 broadly, directly and indirectly, is funding many other roles that are working on the project, right? So almost as many FTE that we have in the proposal are being funded by Web3. So, design, product management, I mean, like my salary, right? For example.
Yeah.
Someone's paying for that. It's Web3 indirectly. Like, so product design, project management, like some engineering, DevOps, security, legal, like these things are being covered by someone else.
Oh, that's actually an interesting story to tell, that this is being funded almost equally, I think you're saying, by the Web3 Foundation. So it's not all coming out of the treasury.
Yeah, in terms of FTE count, for sure. I don't know, but I can't comment on dollars. I don't know what everyone gets paid, right? But
okay.
In terms of dollars per hour, I don't know. But in terms of like FTE, it's about 50-50 between the proposal and being funded by Web3.
Individual named Fantasy in the chat is asking, was there any previous funding? Is it public information?
No, I think that's up to Web3 to comment. Again, for reference, like we have been building like hands-on keyboards coding since about July, August last year. I can't remember exactly when it started, up until now, and that's all been paid for. This funding is only future state. So we're planning to launch early next month, probably in the second week. And then this funding essentially kicks in, and the funding is for future state. It's not retroactive.
Great. We have Kristen from Poker World here. Kristen, what do you want to say?
Yeah. Hi, Alex, and hi, everyone. And Poker World was on the nice side. We have some questions regarding the salaries and the relation between the foundation and the treasury, but we already got our answers, and I think most of our concerns have been solved at this stage. But we will have a call tomorrow to check some milestones that we wanna know about this project. So we wanna reflect on our votings again this week.
Sure, sounds good. And I also think it's important for noting, like, the initial launch will be in the US, and this funding also allows us to launch like Europe. Well, I don't know if it's the rest of the world, but many other countries, right? Europe, Canada, UK. These are all on the initial list, and then I think after that it will be likely. Well, we have to see. Latam, Asia, this kind of thing.
Very interesting. So I just verified that Koos DAO has actually flipped to I, so that'll bring new votes on the I side. And if Poker World flips from nay to I, this will actually put it into passing territory. That'll be very interesting to see. Spectra, what's Hungarian DAO thinking about this?
I'm not too sure. I mean, we talked about it on Tuesday, but isn't this the app that Björn said last July on Decoded that it's going to be ready by Q3 or Q4 last year?
That's correct. Yeah, I think I had a call with Permanent DAO, myself and one of the guys from the PCF org. I think it was last night, and it is something we spoke about. I think the main thing that happened was, or two kind of main things that happened was, we did some testing, user testing, like in production at the end of the year, and we found it just wasn't quite ready. And I think it is better to delay the launch and make it ready than to potentially damage the brand. And I'll give you an example, right? Like so we're using this like very new kind of method, at least for us, of like making a payment and it converts it into this voucher, and then you can cash the voucher out in store, right? That's how we can get like up to 1 million locations in the US from day one. This payment took around 10 seconds, 12 seconds. And I think maybe some of the people on the call or some of the people we tried with the US like gave that as feedback. And my computer's going to sleep. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yep, we got you.
And so, like we evaluated that and said like, it's not good enough. And so, again, behind the scenes, like we've gone to improve that and we've got it down to like 1 second, 2 seconds, something like that. As much time as it would take to kind of like find your wallet, unzip it, pull out your card and tap it if you're using a physical card. And so I think like that's good enough for launch. That's fine. And that's a good start, right? And so like it took more time, right? And so totally appreciate that. I think maybe we got a bit excited about announcing it. Maybe we should have done it at Decoded this year. So there's a bit of a faux pas on announcing it so early, but like the Treasury hasn't paid for the extra time. Like the only extra time delay is like should have been earlier.
We're actually at time, but did you say it's going to have tap payments now? Is that what you just said?
No. So it uses the. I'm saying like waiting 2 seconds for the payment to go through is probably as long as like finding your wallet and unzipping it and getting your card out.
Yeah.
Like 10 seconds if you're standing there is like too long. I think that's basically what it came out to.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks. So, okay, we're gonna probably have a new outcome of this next week to work with. Halfway through the decision period right now. Thanks very much, Berto, for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep, cool. Moving on now to Big Spender 1570, halfway through the decision period for NFT Mosaic's MFP grants program. 50 million dot on the nay side now. 3.3% support. Charu and crew, Maria, I think, Felipe, yeah? What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Jay, thanks for the time here. First of all, we are not here to share any new information, but looking at patterns across voting, wanted to highlight a couple of points. So this will not take too long.
Okay.
But I just want to thank, first of all, some of the DBs who have a very structured process of working through questions and feedback and giving us time to respond. I think we are on that. We're following the process, so we'll hope for better outcomes. But essentially what our observation is that there is a lot of information and there are same questions being asked. So wanted to clarify a few things, that this is not about Unique. This is about Asset Hub, and this is long overdue. The NFT Mosaic MVP grants has nothing to do with Unique's parachain. This proposal is focused on the Asset Hub, which is the official hub. And despite of all the tooling and infrastructure that's available, there are very few real applications. And everyone seems to be waiting for PVM, Jam, or the next perfect moment. Meanwhile, we are sitting on a platform with SDKs, wallets, pallets, things ready to go, and just no one building on it, waiting for something. And in case, and again, we've shared this multiple times, it's out there, but let me drop the link to the palettes research that we had done very quickly in the chat. And if you're not able to view it, you can go into the NFT Mosaic deliverables for Q1. And the other thing is that we are all, as a community, supporting proposals like HydroDX to build TVL, which is great. But let's also ask ourselves, why do we want to oppose a program that aims to bring applications onto Asset Hub, and which is the main traction layer? The second point is that, again, the infrastructure is already live. I think we are missing some headlines here. And I just sent the link to all the research on palettes we've done. There's more research. There was additional research on SDKs, which is in the process of being finalized. If anyone's deeply interested in that, feel free to reach out to us. The team will talk you through it. The unique network SDKs were made live on Asset Hub. So those features can be used to build applications on Asset Hub. And we've tested that live in dev environment at the Consensus Hong Kong hackathon. We are also launching a no-code NFT XCM transfer demo. Again, since the PR is waiting to be accepted, it's functioning in the dev environment. Without coding, you can test those transfers. And if you've missed these, it's not because the work didn't happen. It's because infrastructure updates or these demos, they don't need Twitter hype, or they don't come about by floor price spikes or conversations around that. It comes with MVPs, and which is what we are trying to build. And I've said this across various messages that we are moving away from speculative cases. If you're still measuring the impact by secondary sales, dead marketplaces, I think we're stuck in 2022 cycle. Polkadot is best positioned to lead this next vital phase for what NFTs were meant to be to begin with. And then the third point is that this is really the execution layer of Polkadot's hub strategy, and let's not miss the moment. Tommy, you laid out a great strategy for Polkadot to unify adoption around the hub, around the Asset Hub, make it the portal for users, and it is the right vision. The only thing missing is execution, and this bounty is a framework for that execution. Again, it's a milestone-based grant, a bounty, funding teams that build MVPs with user onboarding, and we are activating the infrastructure that already exists without waiting. And many proposals that sound aligned to the Polkadot strategy, but very few have a framework to deliver traction. We're trying to do that. And there are questions about curators. External curators will be brought in if this passes, and we are inviting participation for that. And in the end, I will just say that we welcome any feedback, but would highly appreciate if you give. We posted a lot of content in terms of links or responses. We highly appreciate if you read that and understand what we try to do. If you still have questions, feel free to ask. I will pause there. That is all I wanted to say, and welcome any questions or conversations, and we'll continue to have our feedback loops with the DVs, and which we appreciate their time and effort.
Okay, we have 2.5 minutes left. Does anybody have any comments or questions here? Yeah.
One thing I'd like to throw in is the thing that comes up with comments regarding engagement of NFTs in the Polkadot ecosystem in general. A very interesting question is the distinction between NFTs being used as tradables and utility NFTs. I think the crucial role of NFTs that the Polkadot really can shine on is showing that the NFTs are actually carriers of data. They're supposed to convey data that is connected to the blockchain. It connects the ownership of data, and it finds its perfect utility in an example like the credit card itself. Essentially, that's what an NFT is. It's a carrier of metadata, and finding utility for this is an uncharted territory. It really needs to get engagement. So kind of moving away from the tradables.
Okay, tell me.
I have a feeling about NFTs is that they have been exploited very heavily in the 2020 cycle, and then everything sort of calmed down a little bit, and now nobody knows what to do with NFTs, right? So there is a lot of ideas for sort of real Web3 applications where you can do something with ticket sales or whatever, like all kinds of useful stuff. But still, when you think about NFTs on Polkadot, there's a little bit of art going on, but we don't really have a good feeling about it. The question is, can we get to a proper concept of what to do with NFTs in Polkadot? I'm looking at the price now. It's 110,000 DOT. That's not a lot of DOT if you look at the yearly budget of the treasury, which is 18 million DOT. So I think a 110,000 DOT is really worth if you say we're going to experiment with stuff and we're going to do it on Hub. Because in the beginning, I think just two things that you can actually do on Hub, which is NFTs and find something useful. And the other stuff is sort of maybe three things. Do things with DeFi, which we're going to see, I guess, and then governance experiments, right? So, but two of these are going to be experiment-driven primarily. So I think we're going to need something for NFTs and the whole experience, and the other thing is for governance. So I think 110,000 DOT is actually a reasonable ask for something that is risky and research-driven.
Thanks, Tommy. And the other thing I would just like to very quickly highlight is that this approach to experimentation and bringing MVPs is only one part of what NFT Mosaic is trying to do with respect to BD. We are working on some of the bigger deals, bigger conversations, one-on-one with some with Web3 Foundation, some with Poke. If anyone is interested, we can't really publicly share that, but if anyone's interested, we can share one-on-one, and we've offered that to some of the DBs as well. So that will continue, but that does not allow us to do this at scale. And while we see all these, the fundraising happening globally around other use cases, around the use cases that Polkadot could really excel at. So we are trying to bring scale through this to some extent. It is, again, as you said, Tommy, it's a smaller amount. We are not aiming too much, but we're just getting the conversation started to see if this works, and then we scale it.
All right. So we're about at time here. I'll say quickly, one of the tensions I see of this proposal here is on one hand, we're trying to separate ourselves from the NFT narratives of the past and talk about how NFTs are actually useful for a bunch of different use cases. And on the other hand, it's still a bounty about NFTs. And honestly, it's like maybe it should be a bounty about onboarding ticket sale applications or something like that. Like it's still a focus on NFTs, which I think is, I think there's a tension there that could be explored. Yeah.
I think personally, my opinion, the issue is the word NFT has become very much tied into just that speculative trading aspect, which has left people very sour. But NFTs is a deeper technology. It's not what we've seen of it.
Which is why,
and maybe the word needs a rebrand, but ticketing is one use case.
Yeah, or it's just like NFT is a piece of a bigger BD conversation where like it's just one little aspect of bigger integrations. Like, and yeah, I don't see the upside of NFT volume or anything like that. It's more like activity, and focusing on NFT is a bit, yeah.
Sorry,
on the contract, it is the data complements to the contract, so it has its place in the blockchain.
I totally get it. I'm just speaking about messaging here, and yeah, go ahead, Angie. And we actually have a bigger conversation to move on to here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say real quick. I mean, we're going to have a conversation this week, Charo, right? Because we're exploring some of the tech that they've built that we can use in gaming for Pulse and for other things that we're going to be doing with the experience exchange. So, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of tech to explore that is not just specific to creating NFTs.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I wanted to point out Mythos Chain is second today by NFT trade volume, actually ahead of Bitcoin, ahead of Polygon, who's making a good run for it, and just behind Ethereum, so second today. And moving this conversation on to one of the applications of NFTs, which is gaming, I've seen a new proposal to top up the .play or gaming bounty kind of passed around here. Angie, did you want to speak about that at all?
I haven't. Was it already been proposed? I
No.
got it in my inbox, and I haven't. I think it's like 37 pages, and I just saw it this morning. So
Oh.
I need to read it through.
Wait, what's going on? Aren't you? Isn't this is for dot play top up? I'm confused. What is this?
I'll come back to you. I need to read through it.
Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
give some serious time to figure out what the heck's going on there. Okay. Let's move on then to other proposals. Oh, we are gonna see this one. Oh, hey, everybody, strap in. If you have PTSD from the Know Your Customer, Know Your Transfer debates from last summer, we got another one on the line here. What is this called? Merkle Science. They say they've been approached by Parity and the Web3 Foundation to support the next growth chapter of the Polkadot ecosystem in regards to Asset Hub. KYT proposal here. They have a discussion post up right now. Let's see how much it's for. It is for 455,000 in USDC / 101.5 thousand DOT. So I'm not sure if that's USDC and DOT or they're doing a conversion there, but we'll get them on the show to discuss this next week. Also, milestone 2 of Easy A. This is looking pretty good, 71.6% in favor here. Pretty good debate and split here. Hungarian trustless permanence on the I side, Chaos DAO on the nay side, and Koos DAO is abstain along with the Jam implementers. That's the Easy A. Oh, the Inter Miami app is struggling. We do have some DV votes in on this. Let's check. So Lucky Friday's on the I side, the biggest vote with 30,000 DOT, but Polka World and Permanence DAO on the nay side. Otherwise, Koos delegate Jam implementers are abstain right now. Okay, so that's really interesting there. Just 1/3 of the way through the decision period. Bounty Hub funding proposal. This is still split, 47.4%. Halfway through the decision period there. The project to translate the content what is it? The Portuguese content. This is $95,000 in USDC. This is 20% support right now, with only Hungarian on the I side, Chaos DAO, Polka World, Trustless Core, and Permanence DAO on the nay side. Koos DAO's split on abstain here, and Jam implementers on abstain as well. That's an interesting one. About a week left there, so we'll see if they can turn that around. Kagome is right on the line again. This is actually looks like it might just fail. We have 3.5 hours remaining in the decision period, and it's only 44% support here. So we'll have to see if they come back around with a bigger proposal. But this had a lot of voting action, a lot of DVs on the I side, but some big Anon accounts on the nay side, along with Chaos DAO and Koos DAO. So wow, that's a pretty juicy one. We'll have to see if they come back. Dot Memo. This is an NFT project. Damsky's doing this. Pretty cool. 81.6% on the I side here for a small request of 70,000. And then there's one deserves a bit of discussion. So Polkadot Giga Hydration campaign. The 5. Oh wait, hold on. We're moving into confirming there. Hold on. But pulling back the reins. Let's see if there's anything else we want to discuss. Tommy, you did have something you wanted to discuss here. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I want to raise a topic.
Yes, please.
So the topic is about talent in the ecosystem and finding the right people to work in OpenGov. Is it fine if I raise it now, Jay?
Yes, please. You have the floor.
Okay, so there is a growing gap between the people we would like to see work in the ecosystem and the people that we are actually able to fill those roles. So to give you some examples, there is a lot of bounties, and typically when a new bounty springs up, we are on the search for curators, and it's always the same 20, 30 people being asked to be a curator that are already busy everywhere else in the ecosystem. The marketing bounty, I had a conversation. They are looking for regional marketing operatives right now, maybe also like to fill another role. And I've been sort of asking around. We have been looking for a PCF directors from the field from the community for over a year. And there's quite a few other roles more specific that we're not filling. There's ideas for programs or projects that we're having, and we don't have the people. So I've been observing this, and we've seen that the number of ideas we're having or the number of roles we would like to fill is growing faster than we're actually filling them, right? So I've decided to allocate some time to this, to look at this. There is a forum post that is called "We Need a More Efficient Job Market in the Ecosystem," right? Because at the one time we have a demand for people. At the other side, I think there is a supply maybe already in the community. Maybe in the future we can source them also from the ambassador program or from other parts in the ecosystem. And we also are on the lookout for qualified people. So we might be looking outside of the ecosystem for Web3 aligned people that would be qualified to fill those roles. So there is some work that I'm putting in right now. Why I'm raising this topic here today is I think we are at a point where we actually could hire a person, a talent manager for the ecosystem, who would be dedicating maybe like half a person, like half a full-time equivalent, or maybe a full-time equivalent that we could dedicate just to that task, activity, responsibility. So person I'm having in mind is a people's person. It's an HR person. They understand how the talent market works. They maybe have experience in traditional roles where they take care about talent, but they're interested in Web3. They would be coming to Polkadot, or maybe they already have experience in Web3, and they can help us. They can work with teams, translate their requirements into role descriptions. They can maybe work with traditional talent agencies. They would be able to work with teams in the ecosystem to help them articulate their needs or to upskill so that they can get better at hiring. And so I just want to throw this as a discussion into the room, and maybe also for the cutout later. I think we need to have that discussion. Do we want to fill that role? What should that person do? And if we do want, how do we go about it? Is it basically a bounty, and then we have a little bit of a hiring process to find that person? Yeah. So just want to throw that discussion into the room.
Great. Yeah, I got some thoughts on that. But does anybody else want to respond first?
Yeah, I think it is an awesome idea, and I think that it is massively lacking. I think if you look at other ecosystems, they have people that are doing this. They are like one person that can, well, one team, probably not one person, that can cover hiring across the board. I think it makes total sense. I think it would be easily a full-time role.
Yes. Okay, Tommy, we should align on this because I've indirectly been talking with some groups about hiring in my RFP missions. I've heard that we've had in the ecosystem by and large a lot of bad luck with hiring. What would you say, like headhunting organizations? I think we poured a lot of money into paying people to hire with very, very poor results. But some of these groups I've talked to are very excited to use the RFP mechanism to basically extend the headhunting role across the whole network. But I do think that this would benefit from an individual like you recommend. I don't know if they have to also be Austrian and good looking, maybe European Union tattooed, I don't know. But some individual who could kind of manage RFPs actually to extend that net very, very broadly, because I think the connections to the people who are the answers to a lot of these problems are probably out in the network, and we can use RFPs very effectively here. Maybe that is a bounty, like Alex says, or maybe it starts with just individual, like tipper track refs, $1,000 a head, something like that. Anyway, that's what I would expand on there. Angie?
I was just going to say, it seems like something internal meaning somebody who's already been in the Polkadot ecosystem might raise their hand and say, I'm going to do this for a bit of time and then step back and have somebody else step in, because it just, I know from experience that I'm constantly asking, who knows somebody who can do this?
Yeah.
And then I'm getting 3 more ideas of people already in the ecosystem that I didn't know were working on it.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be nice to align incentives in a way where it's like everybody's kind of more aware of what the needs are. Yeah, but I would advocate against creating like another organizational structure around hiring. I think we should start small, maybe just one person and RFPs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what I've seen from the conversation so far is it's a little bit about translation, right? So there is needs in the ecosystem, and a traditional talent agency, they might want to do the work, but we typically have this problem in the ecosystem. We hire someone professional, but then we don't offer them the professional counterparty to articulate our needs to them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's about this translational layer, a person that can actually has the time to translate our needs and requirements to then maybe a talent agency that would actually be able to get those people. And
Also,
there is already 2-3 outreaches from people or people that know people. So I think once we get into a more formal process, I think we will have a good number of candidates.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing to think of is many teams need to hire, and if every team hires their own person to hire, or the founder does it, there's either opportunity cost and financial to each team, or there's opportunity cost and time to each team, and so it's something that we can centralize to improve the network, I think.
I would say align actually is the word. It's
Sure,
the other thing is when you have this person wasn't right for this role, but this sort of adjacent role in another team, we've already vetted, you know what I mean? There's a lot of opportunity there. Lucy.
That's how it works in a 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 person company, right? It's people move around all the time. That's standard.
Yes. Lucy. You're muted there.
Yeah, I think having started my career in recruitment a long time ago, and left because it wasn't for me, but I understand how it works, and it's actually a really highly skilled role. And I actually think a lot of the things in the non-technical space that we need people for, we need to not be afraid to bring people in who have that specialist skill set, because we can teach them about Polkadot, but they can't. We don't have the ability to teach people how to be fantastic recruiters, for example. I think, Jay, you're a very good example of this. I am we don't have to understand the exact ins and outs of what an engineer does, but we understand Polkadot, and we came in with different sets of skills and learned about how Polkadot works rather than the other way around. And I do think that we need to be more open to bringing in new people who bring in skill sets that we don't have. And I think around this whole piece, we will then start to see the salary surveys and all of that boring stuff that doesn't make us centralized or corporate. It just makes our lives easier when we're reviewing proposals like Birdo's. It just means that people are that's expensive, but they're going to be really fucking good. So that's why it costs that much. And I think it will make our lives easier once we have a sort of a framework that all this stuff feeds into. And it's just much fairer.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and I think everything looks like RFPs to me, so sorry if it's annoying, but honestly, having an open market like that will really help us get to this sort of global understanding of rates and whatnot, rather than hiding it behind a talent agency, which again, I've heard a lot of poor success stories about that.
And that's why I do believe that we get the right person in to do it and don't have to rely on agencies. If you have a really fantastic recruiter, they have multiple networks, and they're the people that you want.
We have a huge network in the Polkadot DAO here, and even that meetup last night. There's so many people who I know now who are talented, and honestly, if I saw a little opening, man, I would headhunt them easy. I'd deliver them right to this talent agent.
Yeah. Everybody comes with a network.
Exactly.
I also had this conversation earlier today with Anael, the fellowship secretary, and she said there are too many times in the ecosystem we have placed our hope in that one person, that one hire that is going to fix a problem.
Yeah.
And so she was very much advocating for rather creating a system how we can sort of match the talent, right?
Yeah.
So I think if we look for someone here, I think it should be someone who helps to bootstrap these sort of network effects that we can then tap into, right?
Yeah. Let's start small. Let's not think that a big bounty is going to solve it. Let's just start small and build up.
Yeah.
That's what
Absolutely.
I think. Yeah. Cool. Nice. Lucy,
Cool.
you also wanted to have a discussion, I suppose. Sorry, I didn't have a link, so it's hard for me to keep track.
No,
but you wanted to bring up.
no link. I just wanted 2 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Yes, there's no link. The proposal for the Ascent cycle, which will be the phase 2 of the Ambassador Fellowship. We've had the Genesis cycle. We're going into the Ascent cycle, so it's the next 9 months. and we will be putting in a proposal on Monday. The proposal has been through the hands and eyes of 50 plus people and will be shared with all ambassadors over the weekend so that they can have a look through it. I'm hosting a call in just under an hour, another live Twitter space. I did one this morning, which is also available to listen to so that you can get an idea of how we're approaching this. We're taking a real storytelling approach, capturing everything that has been done and everything we plan to do and what that will lead into. And we're going to do some weird and wonderful things with the proposal to make it super interesting to listen to as well as to read. And I just wanted to encourage people to join the next hour or listen so that you can have an idea of what is coming, and wrap your head around it, because like you said earlier, it's a spicy month and it seems to be the month where everybody's putting in. So next week's probably going to be a horror show or a drama show or something, but it's coming, and we're excited to put it in and for what is next. So
when is that that hour you mentioned? Just remind people.
In 57 minutes time, so 6 p.m. UTC. Just a live Twitter space.
Great. On the Ambassador Twitter.
On the it's actually on my Twitter, but it will be shared. It's shared everywhere, and it's on the Discord calendar and the global Polkadot calendar as well.
Sweet. All right. Looking forward to that. Now, anybody else have something they wanted to say before we look at confirming refs, discussions, dramas, concerns, ambition? Fine. Then we will talk about the big update on the hydration ref. And I'm going to ask if some people can jump in here because I haven't quite kept up on it. I just have some impressions. But this is the Polkadot Giga Hydration campaign, 5 million DOT. Now with 82.3% support. Let's just check out the nested votes here. So we have a huge 18.21 million Anon account has come in to support, on top of Chaos DAO and Koos DAO, which I think we're always supporting. But PolkaHub came in earlier this week on the I side, and Trustless Core has joined as well. That's the LATAM group. On the Nay side, we still have Jam Implementers and Permanence DAO. But a few updates here. I'll have to pull it up, but Ben made an extended post about how they are going to return 3 of the 5 million DOT back to the treasury, and mentioned parity in that post there. Something about creating a more holistic DeFi campaign and ambition for when the Polkadot Hub launches. So this is going to be 2 million DOT for just 6 months instead of the 12 months that we originally had here. And then we also had, let's scroll down in the comments here. Wow, look at all that discourse, as it should be. Holy moly. Okay, still scrolling, and we made it. We did have Bjorn, CEO of Parity here, saying, I very much welcome the support of the edit that they made on this proposal, and strongly agree with Nico, Velocity Labs assessment and plan of action. See his comment, which we'll check out in a second. Hydration's comparatively very small team has demonstrated its ability and dedication to building top-notch products, and I look forward to seeing these and future liquidity incentives to help Hydration get the necessary traction for the DeFi space for beyond Polkadot to take proper notice, those beyond Polkadot. So here's Nico's comment. It's a bit long here, but he's basically saying that he supports Hydration, but kind of had differing views on how to maximize the return on this 5 million DOT investment. They agree that Hydration deserves continued support. However, where the views diverge was the proposal size and scope. We feel the proposal could have been more holistic and focusing on DeFi activities beyond hydration, especially with the upcoming Polkadot Hub launch. So I think there are some big DeFi products that certain people are hoping to bring in to the Polkadot Hub as part of the initial launch, and maybe saving some of these incentives for that. Hopefully I covered everything there. Limo, maybe you have some more insights as well. I saw a tweet from you this morning, kind of excited about the future of DeFi and Polkadot. Did you want to elucidate on that at all?
Yeah, I guess it's fairly obvious that there was a nay voter on this, and when all of this was ironed out, and like the free mill is going to get returned. There is a vote on hydration to return those funds that's live right now. Then the vote are swapped. So yeah, I mean, it's good that it's not failing and we don't have to wait another like month or more to start accelerating Polkadot DeFi, which I think is desperately needed. That chart that you guys did, Jay, I think paints a picture of why Polkadot DeFi is in the state it is versus other ecos with the amount of incentives. Yeah, I'm guessing there's going to be another proposal. There's probably Asset Hub, hydration, maybe some other stuff in the future, just based on what people are saying, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
It's good. I mean, it's not the 5 mil. It's maybe going to change the APRs and stuff. I don't really know, but yeah.
I saw some people wondering why this isn't just resubmitted as a 2 million request, but it is continuity because we did just see those last incentives going through from the old campaign. So it is about continuity, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if hydration passes a referendum and then just doesn't honor it, then it's like really, really dumb, right? So
yeah,
I don't think there's any risk there, to be honest.
Here's,
you might as well do this. It saves a lot of time, right?
Here's Ref 90 on the hydration chain here. 1.1 billion HDX on the I side, only 78,000 HDX on the NA side here. And this is going to confirm actually in 12 hours. So it's a race here. So it's actually going to confirm before the Polkadot one is confirmed. So it looks like that'll get sent right back. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's nice to see. I mean, I'm just going to make the assumption that that vote, that switch is controlled by parity or something like that, which I think is fine to say because I actually think it's nice to see parity participating in governance as one of the main builders and main dot holders in the ecosystem. They have leadership with clear goals now, which is different from a few years ago. And I think them using their votes to align OpenGov with their initiatives makes a lot of sense and that is actually a positive. Even if it, maybe it'll be rough in the beginning, like last minute negotiations for a big ref like this, but I think it's a net positive. Limo, what do you think?
Yeah, so two things. So the first one, to just go off what you just said, I think it's better if people do kind of come in early on refs and like tell people their issues rather than waiting until the final hour, and it's kind of annoying.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, I think I mentioned this on Twitter, so it would be good if the Web3 Foundation, Parity, every other company, OpenGov, whatever, could all like kind of state what their like North Star is or what they're working towards, right?
Yes.
So for example, this might not have been known by like the hydration team, but I'm supposing Parity and Velocity Labs want to provide a lot of like incentives for Asset Hub, for example. If it was known, then the referendum could have changed, right? There's a few times where I've seen like bits and bobs from roadmaps and stuff, and they're really cool. I don't want to say what they are because I'll get told off. But like, I don't see why we're not sharing what that is. So then, for example, OpenGov can maybe choose to fund stuff that might be beneficial towards roadmaps that other people are working on.
Yeah.
Maybe the conversation can go towards, can the Web3 Foundation help fund stuff towards that North Star? We just all need to be a bit aligned. I think Sean Tabriz has also been saying this in a few chats I'm in with him and on Twitter as well.
My impression is this is just me observing things that have been happening. I think there's been over the past few years, especially when we were, doing this whole what is it called? Oh no, what's it called when we were trying to decentralize? We became software and all that. What's that group? That important governing body in the United States?
SEC.
The SEC. The E stands for Elon. Elon's. No, the SEC thing. I think honestly, we were holding back. The major orgs that hold a lot of dot were holding back a little bit. This is just my observations to show that there was major decentralization among the dot holders and they were making the majority of the decisions. I think we're past that now, and things that have been kind of backroom planning and whatnot, I think it's really time for those plans to be made public, and so we can have public alignment It's totally cool that there are big bags that can vote in OpenGov and direct the Treasury. I think it's awesome. Just more transparency is going to make everything way smoother, and definitely encouraging Parity, Web3 Foundation, and all those people to kind of come out of the closet here and make their intentions known, because we're going to be stronger if we work together and in the open, for sure. And that's just a process, and I'd like to see it happening. I think it's already happening. Tommy.
One thing that makes me curious is so Shadowbacks have been voting nay, and then voted aye when there was this sort of, okay, there is a more holistic approach.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could also assume whatever, 5 million goes to hydration, and then in the future you're going to make a $3 million proposal for whatever to create incentives for Hub, right? So, but it seems like either the thinking is after the $5 million there is going to be like a fatigue in terms of giving out incentives, or someone has like a bigger plan in mind of how all the treasury dot is going to be spent this year, right? I hope it's the first case and not the second case.
Yeah. Look, you said it there, shadow bags. I mean, it's a shame that we have shadow bags. They should just be known, and same with their intentions. That would be more
I
helpful.
mean,
Yeah.
you can dox them fairly easy if you have the right tools.
No, of course, but the fact that it's privileged information is hurtful to
It
the
shouldn't be
progress.
privileged.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
whoever doxes it is going to get rightfully told. Maybe not rightfully, but they will get told off.
Be brave, dot holders. Come out and state your intentions and help us arrive at better outcomes. Good stuff. Hey, my one concern with this is if 6 months pass and there isn't a clear opportunity on Asset Hub for incentives, how will we continue the hydration incentives? It's kind of nice actually that it's getting broken up a bit. I always thought that 5 million upfront was a bit much, but we'll have to see what happens there, because with Asset Hub launch and the opportunity for incentives, I don't know.
I think in general, also we need to think about ourselves as like one whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Same as like I think on Twitter, a lot of people have been talking about this. Like foundations of other ecos pay like or give money to like DeFi protocols, whatever, that do have their own token, etc. To try and make the overall ecosystem good, right? We should probably stop like PvPing internally with like and we should just be like it's the Polkadot ecosystem maybe against other ecosystems instead of it's hydration versus Stellar swap or whatever.
Yeah.
Would be good to change the narrative a little bit.
No doubt. I think it all comes from transparency, and it's nice to see us moving more there.
And I had Polkadot Summers coming. I don't know about you guys. I've been hearing about that on Twitter.
What?
Polkadot Summer. Have you not heard about it?
Polkadot Summer. Yeah, no. That's exciting.
It's coming. It's going to be big.
No, I've got my bathing suit. I'm ready to dive in. It's going to be big. Great. We got, one more confirming ref. This is cool, right? Substrate Acid Game Engine, Sage, revised, 80,000 USDT. Angie, you kind of worked to make this, to turn this around, I think. But now we have 70% support for this one, and it's almost on confirmation. Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about this.
That's good.
I'm sorry, I just took a bite of something, which is why I went off video.
My bad.
But I am very excited about this, so I want to comment on it. We are working now. So Ilya, who came onto our team through the bounty, and he's working on 3D asset. He's working on this Polkadot avatars project, and he was inspired by the Koos and took some of the characters without even asking, and you liked it, thankfully.
Oh yeah,
But
of
anyway,
course.
So what we're doing now that I'm excited about is he's diving in and kind of creating some games with Sage, so that we can do a virtual hackathon, work out the kinks, and then do something bigger in Buenos Aires. So, and at Decoded.
That's
So
awesome.
we're pretty excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What we really need, we need like the big aha moment for us was that the game engine, the SDK for the two big game engines is not enough. We need a tool that makes it really easy for game developers to build something simple and easy. And it's really hard.
That's cool. Hey, we had somebody at the meetup last night. They got second place in the Polkadot hackathon, and they built this this little game, but it was all built in a palette. And anyway, they were pretty excited about they built it on the Unity SDK, and they were pretty excited about that, and showed them a unit and whatnot.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's been out there, and Cedric, we had it reviewed, and the tech is amazing. And now Unity is also promoting it for us, which is great.
Sweet. And about those avatars, so we worked with Ilya and yourself to actually put those into the Wide Worlds project that generated all those Todd images. And now in the Koos Discord, you can put the love bot, the symbol of the Koos, in any situation you wish. So here he is making some jam in his kitchen. We've also seen him giving a tip to people. Some people try to put him in explicit situations, which you can definitely check out in the Koos DAO Discord. But it's pretty wild, and it's cool to see this functionality here. So there's going to be kind of like a little game with these avatars as well. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
going to put together something pretty simple just to demonstrate Sage.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in it, we're thinking about kind of fun avatar games. Like what I love about Flappywood is the fact that the community is just as important as the game. So that's what we want to do, is build some sort of interaction experiences that are going to be community glue.
So
That makes
cool.
sense.
Nice. All right. Well, good to see. Good to see that passing. I guess that's the show for us today. And that was a great one. It's nice to see this great bounce back to OpenGov. Got a bit boring there for a few weeks, but certainly not boring ahead. And we will be tracking that every week here on AAG. On Monday, we are going to have a demo of the shielded KSM product, the first Kusama RFP. Kusama RFP number one, $50,000 for a Tornado Cash-ish deployment. We're going to have a demo of that on Monday, which is very exciting. And then the RFP number two, RFP Launcher project, that's going to be finished, I think tomorrow or this weekend or something like that. That's just getting a coat of paint, and we'll be able to put that out to the world. And reminder, we have RFP number 4 on Kusama as well to build a small tip launcher. We have 2 or 3 submissions for that so far. I got to check again, but that's pretty cool too. This Space Monkey Sunday, we have Umana Tech. We have Giga from Origin Trail, their Amanatech project, working with law enforcement, adult entertainment companies to make the internet a safer place. And that's actually a really interesting show that you should check out on Sunday. News Pump tomorrow. We'll see you again on Monday. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great weekend.